My name is Kiri Østergaard Leonard. I'm a freelance artist. In this video, I'm going to show you some of my artwork, take you on a tour of my studio, and tell you about my job as a fantasy artist. I've been working professionally for about 10 years now, and I'm originally from Denmark. I grew up there, but in 2010 I immigrated to the US to pursue a career in art. I focus on fantasy art and on children's book illustration, and a lot of my inspiration is drawn from folklore and mythology, from nature, from my childhood, and just from the world around me. When it comes to the projects I enjoy the most, I really love book illustration. That's where my passion is at, particularly cover illustration, but also interiors for children's book and fantasy art. I'm currently working on 2 books of my own, which I am both writing and illustrating. One is called Lock the Legend, and the other one is called Montague Mouse. My studio is located on the 2nd floor of our house in Austin, Texas. It's a fairly small space, but it has everything that I need. One side has a massive bookcase where my entire book collection goes. I have a lot of art books and a lot of Stephen King books and children's books. I collect books for inspiration for my work. And the other side I have my workstation, and then in the center I have a drafting table which my cats are sitting on currently. I have 3 cats. The calico is named Little Kitty. I have a gray one named Minion, and then his sister, a red one called Moxie. This is my sketchbook, the heretofore undisclosed sketchbook of Subject 1984. I self-published it through Kickstarter last year. It's a collection of many of my drawings from the last couple of years. When you're working as a freelance illustrator, it's important to, not just promote yourself, but really kind of diversify what you're doing. So you don't just do client work, you also do projects on your own. I'm a big proponent of hiring yourself when you work as an artist. Just to have stability in your career, it's incredibly important that you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. So don't rely just on client work. You should do personal work too. You should look into licensing your work. You should look into creating, online content for people to enjoy, to build an audience. For instance, like these videos, there are so many ways that you as an artist can reach your audience and build up a community around what you create, and that's just a really wonderful and incredible thing. And then there's of course also the option to work with brands like XP Pen, who is sponsoring this video. Thank you so much for doing that, XP Pen. Your tablet is absolutely wonderful. I was always obsessed with fairy tales as a child. My mom used to tell me a lot of fairy tales and stories, and because of that, I never questioned what type of art I was going to do. Fantasy art was always one thing I was really passionate about and really interested in. So that was the one I ended up pursuing professionally once I realized that I wanted to have an art career. I always drew a lot as a child, and I absolutely loved it, but I was in my mid-20s before I realized that you could actually make a career as an artist. I had no idea before that. Denmark doesn't have a lot of art schools, and that's why I moved to the US to pursue a career in illustration. Once I realized that you could make a living as an artist, I decided to get serious about it, and from there on I started drawing every day to practice and to learn all of the skills. And then once I had a portfolio put together, I started sending it out to various companies and trying to get work that way. And it took about 5 to 6 years before I got consistent work from there on. It takes a while to build up, it takes a while to learn things. So it was definitely a work in process, as all humans are. But now I'm so fortunate to be able to make a full-time living as an artist, and I just love it. So when you're working from home as an artist, it's really important to keep good habits, because if you don't, you're not going to get your work done. I try to keep a 9-to-5 schedule for most work days. I work Monday to Friday. I try to take weekends off. I will go to work up in my studio at 9 a.m. every morning. My studio is on the 2nd floor of our house, so my commute is very easy. I try to eliminate distractions during the day, which means I have a social media blocker installed on my computer and on my cell phone. And I will turn my phone to silent mode. So like if you get distracted, you know, you don't get work done. So you gotta kind of take precautions that way. Another really good thing to do is to keep a really tight schedule. It can be very challenging. It's definitely something I struggle with every now and then, but my head is always bursting with ideas. But engaging with the world around you is a great way to stay inspired. You know, you gotta read books, you gotta take walks, you gotta get out and hang out with your friends and family and watch movies, play games. And when you're doing all of those things, you know, think about how you could turn that into art in some way. Say if you enjoy walks in nature, maybe you could start an art project where you are painting plants from nature, plants that you really like. Or you could make up your own magical plants, make a series of artworks based on that. Maybe you could plant medical herbs or something like that. Those are just a couple of ideas, but that's the way to find inspiration. Just kind of like look at the world around you and think about, oh, what could I make of this? Or what if I was to illustrate my favorite fairy tale? How would I illustrate that? Or what if I was to illustrate my favorite horror story or my favorite game? Like, what would that artwork look like? The most rewarding part of working as an illustrator is being able to imagine whatever you want, and then you can turn that into something real. Something that actually exists in the world, you know, whether you're doing drawing, painting, sculpting, any kind of art really. It's so incredible that we could just, you know, think something up in our heads and bring it into this world and create it. That's really an awesome thing. That's what I love the most about this job. I think the most important skill you can have as an artist is to actively seek out knowledge and to be proactive. The internet is such an incredible resource for us. You know, you can find anything online between YouTube and Skillshare and many other websites. You can find tutorials for anything. So being proactive and going out there and seeking out the knowledge that you need to succeed is really important. Of course, you got to practice your drawing and painting skills, but there are so many other skills that are also needed to be in business for yourself. You know, you need to be good with finances. You need to know how to market yourself. You need to know how to do your taxes. So be proactive and go out there and learn. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to find more of my work, you can find it at kirileonard.com.